See, Zodiac, your mind, it is like a gun. And you want to load it up with little itty bitty bullets of knowledge.
What's going on, family? It's your guy Boro, the Lucky Libra, and thank you for tuning into another episode. Alright, as you can see by the title, we picking up the CUSP Element series, okay, with the air water cusp, okay. And go ahead and click the link in my description if you want to go ahead and check out a more deeper breakdown of degrees and cusp, okay. And when we look at cusp degrees in the zodiac, we're looking at energies from 28 to 2 degrees. So any planet that's falling on 28, 29, 0, 1, and 2 degrees in your natal chart, that's a cusp energy, aka that planet is picking up on 2 energies, 2 different constellations. So this is what we're focusing on in this series. And in this video, we're talking about the air water cusp. So let's get right into it. I gave a theme for all of these cusps, and for this one I called it communicating and relating the vibes. Communicating and relating the vibes. Okay, we got the influence of the air element dealing with logic, communication, relatability, you know, relationships, your social influences. All right, then we have water. All right, dealing with vibrations, connection, emotion, feelings. Okay, so the first cusp we're gonna get into is the Gemini Cancer cusp, and I call this cusp the intellectual nurturer. The intellectual nurturer. So when we're looking at this Gemini Cancer cusp, we got Gemini mutable air ruled by Mercury. Okay? Being mutable and adaptable, changeable, flexible to different forms of communication, different people, different forms of information, jack of all trades. Okay? Very witty, has a way of articulating itself, dealing with a lot of words and ideas. Okay, and when we look at Cancer, this is cardinal water, ruled by the moon, creating, initiating, starting, willing in a new way to feel, to make the room feel, okay, to create it, to set the new temperament, set a new vibe, find a new way to react and respond and dealing with how it feels and its emotions. So when we put this cusp together here, all right, we're going to be having somebody that's very critical of how they deal with their emotions here. Communicate how they feel here. Alright? Positive and negatively. Okay? You dating this person, they going to communicate. They going to let you know how they feel about your ass. I tell you that right now. They going to tell you how they feel in their relationship. They going to have the details about it. They going to have the timestamps and receipts about it. Alright? They gonna remember when you said this, that, and the third. Cancer, well, it's water now. So when we talking about these cusps, water deal with the past. Water deals with reflecting. Water keeps things, is dealing with memory, vibrations. It lingers, so these things stay in the current. So these people are able to pick up the detail about things that they emotionally connected to quick. All right. That's why they feel like they could, cause water's dealing with honing in and receiving. But when you add that air influence here, it's time to push that out now. It's time to express that emotion here. So you're gonna have somebody that's communicative of their emotion here. But when we talk about Gemini Cancer, you know, these people, they're real communicative in uplifting your emotion here. Okay. These people could be really enlightening the Gemini Cancers here, because these Gemini Cancers could be very playful. They can be very playful. All right. So, you know, this energy doesn't really like Cancers could play on some moody energy because they're dealing with water. But the moon, so dealing with the temperament of the moon, the phases of the moon, the mood shifts here back and forth. But when we have Gemini, it wants to bring that energy into a higher place, and it's also the early deacon section of Cancer here, ruled by the moon, being more jovial a bit here. So you know, this energy, this the emotion that they communicate ain't gonna be like a real heavy emotion, real moody emotion. They gonna communicate something that can make you feel light about things. They gonna communicate the bright side about things, this cusp here. All right. So that's what we dealing with. This is why I call it the intellectual nurturer. They're gonna put a lot of details and be really organized. I don't want to say real organized, but they're gonna be real strategical organized cousins, but they're gonna be real strategical, all right, about how they may communicate, how they feel about you, set up certain environments to do this in the right way. It's more compassion here with how they express and connect their thoughts and ideas to others. So like I said, they're gonna communicate how they feel, but 9 out of 10 times it's being pushed out in a way where it wants you to enlighten yourself on how to deal with your emotional well-being, you know, how to help, you know, the collective feel a certain way more positively about things here, but definitely a more uplifting, like a water air energy here. Okay, the intellectual nurture, and these people are gonna have a real actually all of these cusps gonna develop a real emotional intelligence about exchanging emotion with others. They start to develop a whole different emotional intelligence and awareness about learning how to connect and exchange emotions with others. So that's very important for these cusps to you know, continue to grasp, because y'all end up being influences and teachers to others about how to deal with connecting the emotions and dealing with relationships in all different type of ways. Because we got water dealing with the vibes, emotions, feelings, all right, connectivity, and then we got air that's dealing with relationships, relatability, still connecting, all right, dealing with another party, you know, and you know, you mix them two together, these people are going to manifest a lot of situations where they get themselves attached to others. So it develops all type of experiences for these people to end up being able to teach others how to deal with discernment, connecting, dealing with emotions, and how to guard them, protect them, but you know, being open to connect them in all different type of shape or form. So they get real flexible here with relationships. Now we have the Libra Scorpio cusp. All right, shout out to the gang, any Libra Scorpio gang out here. Y'all already know what it is, man. So we call this, I call this one the passionate judge. The passionate judge. So, you know, I was saying the Gemini Cancer ain't gonna really communicate heavy emotion like that. I want to keep it light. Now, this is a little different story over here, because now we're dealing with cardinal air, fixed water. Okay, so it's fixed emotion, concentrated emotion, being initiated and and communicated here, like but in a strong intent here, with a pressure here. Okay, and on top of it, when we come into the more the archetype influences, Venus is ruled by Venus rules Libra, dealing with your value system, what you appreciate. Okay, then we have what you love. Then we have Mars and Pluto ruling Scorpio. Pluto being a co-ruler. So now we have heavy passion. Now we have heavy desire. All right, heavy motive, willpower, intensity. Okay, aggression, transformation, individuality. But it's being communicated with a strong creative intent, with a strong, you know, initiative. So this energy can be someone that communicates themselves in a real individual way, but it could be passionate. They communicate with some strong emotion here. All right, it could come off intimidating to others. It could come off enlightening to others, because these people. Now you see how I was saying the Gemini Cancer cusp wants to communicate in an uplifting way. Libra Scorpio, when they communicate to you in an uplifting way, it's gonna come with a little bit. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be motivating. They're gonna want to. These people really want to motivate you. They really want to light you up. All right. So the way they communicate can be an aggressive. Y'all see the way I communicate and talk. Like, you know, I be having my little passionate rants all the time. Okay. So that's just how it is with this cusp here. And we know Scorpio could be a real, it's already dealing with the occult, the esoteric, but just having that intensity of that pressure and of Mars and Pluto in that water current. That's just a strong vibe here. And communicating that could be real transformative all the time. Trying to relate that, trying to make that heavy current relatable could be real transformative at times. So this is what people on this cusp need to understand. But the people that gravitate to y'all is really strong because they feel y'all. They feel the intention that is coming out of you, trying to light people up, motivate people, all right? Help people tap into their passions. So that's why I call it the passionate judge here, okay? Now, last but not least, we have the Aquarius Pisces. The Aquarius Pisces. And another reason why I named Libra Scorpio the passionate judge, okay, because when it comes to relationships, they deal with heavy vulnerability. They deal with heavy discernment, okay? So, they can be intense lovers here. They can be intense lovers. However, the judge, because when it comes to relationships in their life, you know, they really weigh these things. When they experience relationships in their life, they really try to dig to see, understanding how it has an impact on the emotions here. And how these things need to be cultivated and transformed in order to evolve within their relationship life. So it's like they get deep with the psychological breakdown and getting into the self-discovery aspect and judging and observing, you know, what's accumulated on the emotions based off of how they connected and related their emotions, all right? Or relate or try to align themselves with others, because it's Libra energy. It's Venus. Venus loves, values, appreciates. So it comes off trying to love, value, and appreciate, but could do it aggressively, trying to get people to align with their passions. And it could think that it's not ever wrong because it's doing it from a positive, you know, enlightening like energy, but it's just intense. It's real individual, and they got to notice some of these things that they're so open to relate. It's really individual. All right, and then we got my Aquarius Pisces cusp, and I call this the compassionate realist. All right, the compassionate realist. Now, when we look at this cusp, okay, we got fixed air ruled by Saturn, co-ruled by Uranus, co-ruled. Then we got Pisces, all right, mutable water ruled by Jupiter, co-ruled by Neptune. So when we look at this specific cusp, we have the strategical, all right, most likely isolated a lot of the time, individual, reserved type of energy of Aquarius, detached, okay, but logical, all right, utilizing ideas, utilizing resources, utilizing forms of looking at reality, what the situations is dealing with and the relationships is dealing with. Then we got the influence of Pisces with that mutable water, Jupiter energy, adding a mystical feel to things, a philosophical feel to things, a more intuitive feel to things, into the grasp of reality. Now, both of these signs got one thing in common, that they're both connecting, dealing with how they deal with the collective consciousness. All right? Coming out that 11th, 12th house space. These are two spiritually inclined houses in the Zodiac. So when we look at the 11th house, dealing with connecting to the collective consciousness through the intellect, through the mind, through associating, all right, through relating, you know, the idea and a fixed individual perspective, Aquarius. Then we got Pisces doing it through the subconscious, through the imagination, through the fantasies, through the emotion, okay? So here you have somebody that's very individual about how, not just individual, but individual, and it could come off as passionate about how they go about enlightening the collective to a certain individual perspective about things. Like they could play out heavy activist energy here with this type of alignment, because they dealing with how they see reality, society, and relationships, but it got a philosophical feel to it. So based off the things that they've been influenced to look at from a detached perspective, you know, it also is able to feel for what is the reality of what's going on, instead of just being in the analyzation, cold, detached energy. That Pisces energy helps it to see reality for what it is, but also feel for reality. So this is why it's going to implement them for being real action oriented in their relationships. Okay. You know, I call it the compassionate realist, because, you know, when it comes to them making decisions to organize, structure things, they have a sense of doing it practically. But, you know, this is also, it was another energy I was breaking down, that, you know, the Sagittarius Capricorn cusp. Once again, that's that Jupiter Saturn energy coming together. And this is the energy we dealing with right now, family. The energy we dealing right now is Saturn Jupiter conjunct. Okay, so once again, when these type of cusps, the Sagittarius Capricorn, this is another thing that they have in common. Sagittarius Capricorn cusp and the Pisces Aquarius cusp, like, they have a real good subconscious field for what they doing business wise. These are the people that you watch their interviews, and like, if they, a lot of people that probably had this cusp, if they successful business owners, they gonna have a whole philosophical outlook on something that they like tapped into or learned, or something, a philosophical outlook that they expanded on, that helped them apply something to their business or relationship, or something they was organizing or trying to structure, that changed everything for them, or something that they learned, or something that the universe was trying to teach them. But dealt with reality, dealt with a relationship, dealt with a realistic situation though. So you can't just say it's so philosophical and imaginative. Nah, it was correlated within a realistic situation. So it's this type of energy here. These people have a lot of knowledge and wisdom about how to find ways to strategize your imagination. They will give you a lot of wisdom about groups, about different businesses, collectives, jobs, to get around people that's into what you creatively into, because they know how to personally do this themselves. So they could be, this energy can be real isolated too. This energy could play out really isolated too. And Pisces like to connect, but this energy, Pisces is just a real spiritual energy, and could end up feeling like, not feeling like having to isolate itself, but at times feeling like it has to, you know, give love back to itself, pretty much. Like, all Pisces get them shits, you know. But for the most part, you know, with this energy, with the compassionate realists, they go out their way, like they you can see their heart worn on their sleeve to help others. It's so apparent, it's so evident how much they want to help others find some structure in their own lives, you know. So shout out to y'all, Aquarius, Pisces, the compassionate realists. And family, y'all already know what it is, man. We picking it back up and wrapping it up with the water fire cusp. Hope this is enlightening y'all to deal with y'all cusp energies, and why y'all been catching certain influences with y'all cusp energies. Okay, y'all make sure to check out the Patreon. Y'all make sure to check out the website, book a reading, book a consultation to connect with the lucky Libra. And until next time, family, peace.